Welcome, everybody, to Gospel Talks podcast, where we help Christians all over the world become more effective in relational evangelism and discipleship. With me today is Jeff Musgrave, author and founder of The Exchange, pastor for over 30 years, church planner in Denver, Colorado. And I'm George Binoka. I was a church planner in East Africa for a couple of years, and then now I'm an outreach pastor here in the Phoenix area. We're your hosts. We're going to take your questions about relationships, evangelism, and discipleship, give you biblical, practical answers. This is episode number 11, and we're so glad to be back.
Yeah, this is exciting.
And thank you so much for listening and subscribing. You hitting that subscribe button, you following the podcast, liking our stuff on social media, that helps all those algorithms out there. And that's our marketing plan, is you. And we just love that you guys support this and back us up. And so we couldn't do it without you guys, and appreciate all your love and support. The episode today is about how do you explain the Trinity to an unbeliever? Because it's hard enough to explain to believers.
Yeah. My answer is very carefully. So just a thought. Number one, if this doesn't come up in the questions and comments, this is not one of those things that I believe is necessary to be able to understand the gospel. So I do understand there are going to be times, and when it is necessary. There are going to be times it's necessary to deal with this. But maybe we should say it this way. There are lots of things a person doesn't need to know in order to trust Christ. I do think that this is the case. One of the things they do need to know is who Jesus Christ is. And if they get that wrong, then they're not genuinely saved, because Jesus is uniquely qualified to save us. So you have to believe in the real Jesus. You know, that in the Bible it talks about believing in another Jesus. We can use the word and it's still not him. So we do have to understand who Jesus is, why he is 100% God, 100% man. But it's not necessarily necessary for a person to believe that God is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So I think, number one, I don't bring it up unless the other person brings it up.
I think that's important, especially in the case of Muslims. And the Muslims I've interacted with, it's the first thing they go to.
Yeah.
You have three gods.
Yeah. And obviously, when you're talking to a Muslim, this is one of those things you're going to have to deal with. So I'm just saying, when we're talking about this topic, we just need to recognize this is not going to come up every time. We don't have to have all these answers ready so that we're going to be talking to our neighbor next door. It just depends on who we're talking to as to whether or not we need to talk about this.
The other part of this that is difficult is this is a bit of a mystery. So it's not like I have I can describe the Trinity to people. I can't actually explain it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I have notes for myself, and both of the things that we're talking about now are on the very bottom of my notes.
But let's go back up to the top.
No. I think that one of the things that you're bringing up is really important. Be careful of easy, and I put those in quotation marks, illustrations.
Yes.
Because most of the time they lead to error.
Yes.
And so I tell people all the time, when it comes to explaining the Trinity, I struggle with it, and I don't know that I've ever gotten it perfect. And so everybody always wants to come up and explain to me, here's an easy way to do this. And almost every single time it'll lead to error. So we have to be careful with trying to make it too easy.
Yeah, there's actually a satirical video of two guys from, I think it's like St. Patrick and St. Patrick. And, there's all sorts of analogies, and they're like, oh, that's modalism, or oh, that's this, oh, that's that.
The only thing I remember about that